On this episode of the Globe Sports Corner, we're on the diamond for the majority of the show as spring sports get fully underway. And there's another big personnel change in the athletic department to explore as the school year hits the home stretch. All that up next on the Globe Sports Corner. Joining you from the Globe Studios on the campus of Goshen College, I'm your host, Collin Echols, saying welcome to the 10th episode of the Globe Sports Corner for this season. Since our last show, spring sports have finally gotten into full swing, and it is going to be a loaded show. Okay, no more waiting. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. We have to go all the way back to spring break for a pair of monumental moments in Maple Leaf athletics history. Softball flew south for the winter to compete in the Space Coast Spring Games in Melbourne, Florida. And talk about a heck of a schedule. They played 10 games in just 6 days and came home with a 4-6 record, including some single-run losses to top 25 or receiving votes teams. The big story comes from a pair of seniors who have cemented their names at the top of the record books. Our very own Alyssa McDonald set a new career record for triples at 10, and Shay Van Scooters set the career doubles record at 50. Both previous records set by 2022 alum Ree Catelez. Major congratulations to both Shay Van Scooter and Alyssa McDonald for their incredible accomplishments, and we look forward to the rest of this season. Coming up, we're going to take a look at another major change in the athletic department after the conclusion of the basketball season. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Globe Sports Corner.
Goshen students enjoy an amazing record of success. What's the secret? It starts with hands-on learning experiences. Whether it's a service project in Peru, a sustainability semester at our Environmental Learning Center, or broadcasting for our award-winning radio station, it adds up to life-changing perspectives and real-world skill development that makes a difference to future employers. And it's all available at a campus that makes everyone feel at home. Come hang out with us and see for yourself. Schedule your campus visit today at goshen.edu/visit.
You're tuned in to the Globe Sports Corner. The GC Athletic Department has parted ways with now former men's basketball head coach Kyle Capps following the conclusion of just his 3rd season in the role. Ana Elves has the inside scoop.
On Wednesday, March 5th, the Goshen College Athletic Department made the decision to part ways with men's basketball head coach Kyle Capps after 3 challenging seasons. Chad Coleman, Director of Campus Safety and Interim Athletic Director, addressed the situation.
Basically, what it came down to is we felt like this was the time to try to make a change in leadership and do something different for the program.
The news was first delivered to the players via an email from Coleman. Judah Simfukwe, a junior player on the men's basketball team, shared his reaction to the news.
In the moment, I was just shocked because I never thought Goshen would do much.
During the time Capps coached in Goshen, he posted a winning percentage of just .095, ranking the lowest among all former Goshen College basketball coaches.
I mean, our record kind of speaks for itself. It's been a struggle, especially we have a lot of turnaround every year. We have a bad stretch of a year, and then we see a lot of guys leave and a bunch of brand new guys, and same thing. So it's been tough to find chemistry of that sort, but hoping to turn it around for sure.
Eric Bowen, who has served as an assistant coach alongside Capps for the past 3 years, will now step in as interim head coach, while the athletic department searches for a permanent replacement.
And he was up to the challenge. He's accepted that position. So he's working with the athletes and meeting with them regularly, doing workouts with them, hopefully gauging, whether or not, they plan to return next year, with or without a different coach.
While the coaching change may affect recruiting for the next class, the department is more focused on retaining the current players as only 2 seniors are leaving.
It's more about the retention, I think, at this point. We have some recruits that are, that Eric has some relationships with who are in love with Goshen College too. And they want to come to Goshen College, and we hope, that we can, see that through.
Despite the transition, the team remains united under the guidance of the new interim coach.
Taking on that new role till the head coach position becomes official, till they make a decision. So, I mean, vibes have been good. Obviously, guys are still out here playing. So, overall, the vibes have been really well.
Ana Alves reporting for Globe Sports.
With a search for a permanent athletic director still in place, a national search for a new head coach is just one more wrench thrown into the landscape of the Maple Leaf Athletics' future. Thanks to Anna for the story. After a quick break, we'll shift the focus back to softball as they continue a red-hot start to their season. You're watching the Globe Sports Corner. Welcome back to the Globe Sports Corner. Joining me in the studio is third-year head coach of Goshen College softball, Luke Wagner. Coach, as always, pleasure to have you in the studio. Thanks for taking a couple minutes on game day to come in here and chat.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me. It's always a good time.
Now, we didn't get to do kind of like a full-blown season preview just because of where you guys started over spring break, but you go down to Florida, right? Go get some warm weather, came back with a 4-6 record, successful week, 10 games, 6 days, played really good competition, and then you opened conference earlier this week with a 2-0 sweep over Grace to start things off. Talk about the team. How's it been going? What's been working really well for you guys so far this year?
Yeah, I think, I'm super proud of the team, super proud of the girls. They're working so hard, and one of the biggest things that we talk about in the off season is trusting the process over results. So we could have a really good process and we may not get the results that we want right now, but we're building, we're working for something, and there's growth there. And I think that Florida was a great example of that, of going down there. Playing 10 games in 6 days is tough. The girls were warriors down there physically and getting up for each game. And we played some tough competition, but we came back 4-6, which is probably not the record that we want, but the process was good. We saw a lot of good stuff that we learned from that we were able to use in those first 2 games here against Grace that got us better results. And so it's process kind of over results sometimes, and right now we're leaning pretty heavy to that, and now we're seeing some good results because we are trusting what we're doing.
I got to pop over to those Grace games for a couple of minutes. And in those inning and a half that I saw, while you're there coaching, it does seem like you're pretty hands-off. You got a lot of leadership coming up from the roster, from your players. How does that kind of take a big load off of your plate on game day of like, hey, I don't have to micromanage every single person out here. They kind of just do it themselves, and I get to stand back and sit on third base and have the head coach title and do things when I need to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been fantastic. That's been a huge adjustment from year 1 to year 3 of being able to now – the girls know the system. The girls know what we're trying to do, how we're trying to play, and what needs to be done to get to where we need to go. And so now my role is more of just kind of pop in here and there, give an adjustment here or there as I see it. But for the most part, I can trust, like you said, like good senior leadership, returners that know the expectation, that know the standard, and that are able to keep that standard during the innings. Hey, here's what we need to do. Hey, energy needs to go up. Here's adjustments that need to be made. And that's fantastic as a coach, to be able to not feel as though you need to micromanage everything and just let the girls play. Let them have fun. It's their game. Everybody showed up to see them, not me, right? And so it's all about letting them get out there, and this is their time to shine. We've worked hard all week in practice. That's where I'm supposed to be hands-on, and then when it comes time to the game, just go play, have fun, and give the people a little bit of a show, And so we felt like we did a nice job at Grace, and the senior leadership's been fantastic.
Speaking of a couple of those senior leaders, when you guys were in Florida, kind of the big headline, Shea Van Scooter breaks the all-time career doubles record. Alyssa McDonald breaks the all-time career triples record.
Yeah.
So those two are obviously bringing a lot of firepower. Shea bounces back 2 home runs against Grace in Game 1.
Yeah.
They've been kind of crazy to start the year, but kind of throughout the roster, there's a lot of firepower, a lot of oomph behind a bunch of your players. Where does that come from? What's the drive behind that, obviously outside of, trying to check the win box every time you go into a game?
Yeah, as odd as as odd as this may seem, I think the firepower comes from not focusing on having firepower. I think one of the things, year one when we got in here, there were a lot of kids trying to hit home runs and trying to elevate that ball out of the park and trying to, again, result. We want to hit this ball really, really hard. We want that double. We want that ball in the gap. And I think one of the reasons why we're having so much success right now is because we've gotten away from that, and it's just, hey, we need to have a mechanically sound swing. We need to adjust to what the pitcher's doing, and then we need to square the ball up. And then from that point forward, we did our job. Let's just see where the ball goes. And I think it's less worrying about where that ball is going to go and more just putting good swings on the ball. And as you know, when you put good swings on the ball, things are going to happen. And so I think that's probably one of the things that's helping us out right now is we're not too worried about what happens after I swing. But if my swing is good, it's mechanically sound, it's compact, it's quick to the ball, then probably good things are going to happen. And let's just make the defense beat me. And right now, we're capable of doing some nice things with the bat.
Still a whole lot of season left to be played. You got Bethel later this afternoon, possibly St. Francis tomorrow if the weather holds out. And, it should be a good rest of the season. What's the expectation? How's everybody feeling about it, especially now that you're really, really in full swing?
Yeah, I think I'm super excited for the season. I'm super excited because I really do feel like this is a special group of girls, and I feel like this is a special kind of idea behind what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go this year. As far as the expectations, we try to keep those simple. We always simplify what we're trying to do. We don't want to go too crazy. And so the expectation is late in the season to be playing meaningful games. And that means that we're competing for a spot in the CL tournament, that we're trying to potentially get one of those top 4 seeds to maybe stay off of day 1 this year. If we don't, then we're going into that day 1 and we're going to give them hell and try to work as the best we can there. But expectations are just play meaningful games late in the season. If we're doing that, then we're doing a good job.
Coach, we're looking forward to it. Once again, I know you got a busy day ahead of you with Bethel coming up, but thanks for taking a couple minutes to come chat with me.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Coming up, we'll close out the show with the Everence Student Athlete of the Week and get you a full rundown of the GC athletic schedule with the Maple Leaf Minute. Stick around. This is the Globe Sports Corner.
Goshen College. Everyone's at home here. Students from around the world and down the street find inspiration and lifelong friends in our unique, supportive community, right here in northern Indiana. Cutting-edge academics, real-world learning, and small, personalized classes make the difference, all surrounded by world-class culture and championship sports. Most importantly, it all leads to a record of amazing outcomes in diverse fields of study. From pre-med to social work, broadcasting to accounting, schedule your campus visit today at goshen.edu/visit.
Welcome back. You're watching the Globe Sports Corner. We found ourselves on the diamond for pretty much all of this show, and that's not going to change yet as we put the spotlight on the Everence Student Athlete of the Week. From the baseball team, it's pitcher Giacomo Padilla earning the title for his last week of performances. Over his last 2 outings, Padilla posted just a 1.8 ERA with 2 hits allowed across 10 innings. He carried a no-hitter through 5 of those innings against Marion last Sunday. Congratulations, Giacomo, for being named the Everence Student Athlete of the Week. Now that we finally have some good weather, that means that spring sports, well, they're in full swing. Bringing you up to speed with the next week in GC Athletics with your Maple Leaf Minute is Liliana Herrera. Lily, now that sports are back outdoors, I imagine that schedule is going to start getting a lot more jam-packed than we've been seeing.
Let's get right into the upcoming week of Maple Leaf Athletics. This afternoon, the women's and men's tennis team are headed to Bourbonnais, Illinois for their matches against Olivet Nazarene University. The start time for the matches have yet to be announced. Let's head on over to the Diamond with Maple Leaf baseball and softball. Both teams face off with the Bethel Pilots for a doubleheader that will count towards the U.S. Highway 20 Cup. Baseball will travel to Mishawaka to take the field against the Pilots for their first game at 1 p.m. Softball hosts the Pilots at home with their first game starting at 3. Both of their second games will follow shortly after the first. We will stay with baseball and softball. Saturday, softball will hit the road to Fort Wayne to take on the Lady Cougars of St. Francis University. First pitch is at 1 p.m. with the second game following after. Now for baseball, they continue their stretch against Bethel on Pilot territory. First pitch is set for 1 p.m. as well, and again, the second game will follow directly after. Continuing on to Saturday, we move to the hardwood with the men's volleyball team. The Leafs will take the long 4-hour trip to Mount Vernon Nazarene in Ohio to face off against the Cougars. First serve is set for 5 p.m. Maple Leaf Athletics get a 2-day break, but hit the ground running on Tuesday afternoon with softball hosting the number 18 Indiana Wesleyan University Wildcats. This doubleheader is set for the first pitch at 3 p.m. with Game 2 following after. We then move indoors for men's volleyball action. They hit the road to Fort Wayne to take on Indiana Tech. That match will start at 7 p.m. The Athletics get another 2-day break, but pick up on Friday with a full schedule. The action starts at 12 p.m. with men's and women's tennis taking the court in Grand Rapids, Michigan against Davenport University. We move back to the Diamond for both Maple Leaf baseball and softball. Both teams are hosting their double headers with baseball slugging it out against Indiana Wesleyan University. Their first game starts at 1 p.m. with the second following after. For softball, they will face off with Mount Vernon Nazarene University with their first pitch will take place at 3 p.m. with, as always, the second game to follow after. Good luck to all GC teams in the next week. More information, schedules, scores, and updates can be found at goleafs.net. That's going to do it for the upcoming athletics. My name is Liliana Herrera. Collin, back to you.
This has been another episode of the Globe Sports Corner. Don't forget to follow the Globe on all of our social media pages. That's Facebook, Instagram, and X, all at 911 The Globe. Check us out on the web at globeradio.org and download the Globe Radio app, available on all Apple and Android devices so you can take the Globe on the go. Check back in 2 weeks for more Maple Leaf Athletics coverage. For the entire Globe staff, for Lily Herrera, I'm Collin Echols. This has been the Globe Sports Corner.